another video. So I thought in this video I want to talk about a bit like where I am at and what I've been doing lately when it comes to writing. And yeah, so if you don't know, I began writing fiction about 9 months now, I believe, 9, 10 months. I began 9th June 2025, and that's when I decided and had finally realized that, you know what, I want to become a writer. I want to become like J.K. Rowling or George R. Martin and write books for a living. And then I found a lot of people on YouTube saying that making a living as a writer is fucking hard and it's brutal, and you have to at least make one book every single year to actually make it. And well, I sort of began my writing journey being very overwhelmed with what the fuck do I do? Like, there's so many tools you can use. There's so much to think about when it comes to organizing a story. You have to just fucking. There's so many things, so much information that just shoots right towards you, and it's hard to understand what actually matters and what doesn't. And I'll be honest, I'm still at a point where I'm just full on experimenting with everything when it comes to world building, character creation, drafting, and yeah, sort of find your own process. As for the past weeks right now, I've been sitting down at this desk, and I have usually my MacBook, but that's downstairs now. And I open it up, and I've had the process of beginning to make a pre-outline of like what the scene is and like think around the scene. And that sort of gets me in the mood and makes me feel like I'm about to create something deeper than if I just began trying to brute write and draft the scene or towards a chapter. So I've had that start that I pre-outlined very lightly, and then I've written and drafted, and after that I've world built kind of in order to serve the story. But the thing I've been the thing I've been wrestling with now recently is, how the fuck do I build characters? How do I world build specifically for a story? So I've been watching a lot of Brandon Sanderson lectures, if you know him. He's a big author. I haven't actually read any of his books, but he's a very known American author, and he has, in my opinion, pretty good advice. And I learned something very specific from him, which helped me rather a lot. He sort of gave me permission to be a little more structural. I've thought throughout the time I've been writing that there's these two specific types of writers. You're either a gardener like George R. Martin, or Stephen King, place two characters down, have a conflict, and then you write and see where the story goes, or you map the entire fucking thing out like J.K. Rowling. And it made me, in a sense, think that I had to choose between one or the other. But while I watched a lecture of Brandon Sanderson, the first one, there was he had a playlist on YouTube, 2025 lectures. I watched the first video, and he talked about a writing philosophy, and he told me how basically these two types actually intervene a lot, and most writers are actually a combination of both. And that kind of led me to experimenting with pre-outlining, then drafting as a discovery writer, and then world building, more structure and trying to see the big picture. He also told me that there isn't any perfect process. You have to literally just experiment with everything you can and try it out for yourself and see what works. Maybe there's a small ritual, a few things you can do before you start actually drafting, which is obviously the most essential task if you want to create books. That's what I want to do, at least. And yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to get you in that writing mood. For me, it's sitting down and pre-outlining, and then maybe brainstorming around the scene. That helps me get actually into the writing. And then afterwards, when there's certain things that maybe surfaced while I've been writing, and I realized, oh, this is a problem I have to world build and create a solution for. That's when it's like perfect for me to have world building right after, and that's what I've been doing recently. I'm not going to say that it's been fucking perfect. It has not at all. There's been a lot of times when I just sat down and I tried to write and I just fucking couldn't get anything out. And a lot of the times that's because I'm a bit of a structure freak. So whenever I thought of an idea that, oh shit, maybe I should do this, this, or this. For example, I've had plenty of ideas for what I can do as my like pre ritual before writing, and that's sort of like fucked me in a sense. It's yeah. Sometimes my writing has gotten ruined because I've been very obsessed with, oh, I need the right writing process. But the reality is that there's so many like possible processes. For example, George R. R. Martin, he don't separate drafting and revision. Basically, he writes and then he like sits there and thinks and maybe gets like a paragraph a day. But then he creates Game of Thrones and he shuts everyone up, right? Everyone who says his process doesn't work, literally just can't say nothing because he created Game of Thrones, Westeros, and they didn't. And yeah, so I've been watching a lot of Brandon Sanderson lectures to try to learn the different elements of my writing process, like world building. And I often, when I say like world building after the drafting has like been done, after I've actually written scenes, that I basically mean like world building, different physical places, maybe culture, systems, laws, character building. I also sort of like connect to that kind of session. It's 1 hour session. And yeah, I've been trying to learn how do you actually build characters? How do you actually world build like real? How do you create a real believable world? That's what I've been watching Brandon Sanderson lectures recently, and I feel like it's helped a lot. I've taken a lot of notes, and yeah, he's good at like handing out his advice, in my opinion. And other than that, I've been reading Game of Thrones like a hell of a lot. That's like been the only thing I've been reading almost. And I'm on book 4 right now, and it's getting fucking intense. Red wedding, fucking everyone dying at weddings. Joffrey. That's a spoiler if you haven't like watched Game of Thrones or read it. But yeah, you won't be sorry for him. Let's be honest. Let's be fucking honest. So yeah, I've also I have also been like thinking a lot about like there's a lot of pressure when it comes to writing books. I've heard from Brandon Sanderson, realized a lot myself that oh shit, so like this is a hard task. So I've also added more things into my life since I don't have like a job right now. I live at home with my parents, and I'm working on the book series and I'm building this personal brand. I have a bit of time, so I think a smart thing is to not only have writing in your life. I think it's smart to have more activities, hobbies in your life, so the pressure of building a book or a book series or whatever you want to do goes a bit down. It's not that serious. That's not where you only put your value in. That's not like your full identity. So what I've been doing recently, I began learning Spanish. After my morning when I've written for the book series and world built for the book series, had my pre-outline thingy before, then eaten breakfast, and then made these videos. Then I go to the gym, and afterwards I do a bit of Spanish. I try to learn and get better at Spanish. I also try to get better at English by sort of just talking out loud to myself and looking like a sicko, really. And yeah, reading a lot. Game of Thrones. I think it's very important to have different aspects of your life that you don't only write, and when you write and it suddenly goes to shit, you don't feel that bad because you have other things as well. You have like a fuller identity in a sense. So that's what's been happening in my life. That's the fucking documentation of the book series. And yeah, I hope it like helped you a bit. And yeah, take care.